Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhaashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om and salutations to one and all. We saw in the introduction about what we seek is supreme happiness, and it is not found outside, it is not found inside the mind, it is that which transcends the mind. And to know that, a valid means of knowledge is required. So the valid means of knowledge is the Veda. The three divisions of the Vedas also we saw: Mantra, Brahmana portion, first division. So first division has these names: Mantra, Brahmana, Samhita. Then the second is Aranyaka, and third is Vedanta or Upanishad. Now Gurudev in his talk, in his commentary, when he has said Aranyaka, he has not meant technically the division as Aranyaka. He has meant that Upanishads are given in quiet places, and in the solitude of the forests one can go deeper into contemplation. So in that sense he used the word Aranyaka. But in this classification, the first part is Mantra, Brahmana or Samhita, which broadly signifies the karma kand or the rituals. Second is the Upasana, to make the mind single pointed, which is called Aranyaka. And the third is the Jnana Kand or Vedanta or Upanishads. Now, what is an Upanishad? Veda itself we saw. Veda does not mean a book. Veda means knowledge. Vid means to know. Same way, the word Upanishad does not mean a book. Book is a secondary meaning of that. Primary meaning is, we have to derive from the very etymology of the word Upanishad. So simplest meaning of Upanishad is, Upa means near, Ni with firm determination, and Sad to sit. To sit at the feet of a teacher with firm determination is Upanishad. Firm determination about what? Two things. Firm determination that there is no happiness in the world outside. Last time we saw about it. Pariksha lokan karma chitan brahmanaha. A person has examined the world, the life here, the experiences very closely, and come to a conclusion, nirvedam ayat, that there is no happiness in the world out there. The supreme permanent happiness that we seek. That is called vairagya. So with a mind full of dispassion, vairagya, a person has come to the teacher, and second is, there is an intense desire to know what is that source of supreme happiness. If it is not in the world, it has to be within, as my true self. So the determination to know who am I, or to discover that state of supreme self, that I want nothing else, that is my top priority. In fact, for that period, that is the only priority. With that firm determination, one who comes to a teacher, the knowledge that the teacher gives such a student is called Upanishad. It may be written down in the book form, that is secondary. But primary meaning of Upanishad is that knowledge. Upanishad shabdena vidya iti uchyate. The knowledge that a student gets at the feet of a teacher, when that student is qualified well. Suppose the student is not qualified, then what will happen? Then knowledge will go bouncer. Then the teacher will have to train the student first. So in the Upanishads, we find that is the methodology. The subtlest knowledge is given first. So the prepared student gets it, job is done. If somebody is not able to get the knowledge in the beginning, then certain upasanas are prescribed. If they are not ready even for that, then they are told, go do some karma yoga, prepare the mind, make the mind quieter, exhaust the rajoguna. So the scheme of evolution remains the same. What we saw earlier, karma kand, upasana and jnana. So even if somebody jumps straight to jnana kand and wants to know the Upanishad, like Gurudev used to tell us, nobody can smuggle themselves into this state. You can't smuggle yourself into that state. One has to be ready. If one is not ready for it, one will just not get it. How many ever books one may read, commentaries one may read, because it's not there in that. It is in the heart. The heart which is ready, it is tuned. The knowledge happens, conversation happens between those two hearts, the teacher and the student. And then only the student will be able to grasp also what the teacher says. So a prepared student has gone to a teacher and with firm determination, one seeks the knowledge at the feet of the teacher. That knowledge is called Upanishad. Now what will that knowledge do? So Shankaracharya ji gave this beautiful meaning of the word Upanishad based on the root Sad. Three meanings it has. In Kathopanishad introduction commentary, he has given this. That why should somebody study Upanishad also, one will come to understand through those three meanings. So first meaning he says that Gati, the root Shad means the Gati. Gati Brahma Gamayatritvat. It will speed up one's journey to realize Brahman. That is the Upanishad. The knowledge of the Upanishad, the more we contemplate on the mantras of the Upanishad, the leap that we have to take from the ego to the absolute self, that is speeded up. Why? Because this knowledge will destroy ignorance. That's the only method to remove ignorance, is to gain the knowledge of the self. Today I don't know who am I, so I think I am the BMI and then I am dependent on the world for my happiness. This knowledge will remove that root cause, which is ignorance. And how will this knowledge arise? When we gain it from the teacher, and if we are ready instantly, that very moment, this knowledge will make that person realize the self. The highest or the most qualified student, Uttam Adhikari, as soon as the teacher gives the knowledge, then and there is realization. There is no time gap. But if one is not ready with that quality of the mind, with the highest level of dispassion, discrimination, then one may need some time. So one has to contemplate. So through steady contemplation, this knowledge will remove the wrong notions and ignorance finally will disappear. So it will speed up the evolution. Brahma gamayitritvat. That knowledge which helps me to realize my true self, and there are no steps in the final stage. My teacher always used to tell us that there is no walking up to realization. There is only waking up. Till one point you can walk. After that it's a leap. Till a point of preparation of the mind, one can do steps, one can walk. So what we saw, no, karma kand, upasana and jnana. Till that much one can walk. After that, it is an intuitive realization. That intuitive realization is a leap, where one says, I am not the body, mind, intellect, I am that already. One is contemplating that. It's not that the jiva has to become Brahman. The individual can never become the infinite. The individual contemplates, I am already the infinite, not as the individual, but as the essence, as the supreme truth. That is a leap. Like the dreamer can never become the waker step by step. The dreamer has to just wake up, drop the identity. I am not the dreamer or the dream character. So Brahma gamayitritvat. But before this can happen, the strong raga and dvesha that we have and strong body identification which we have, that has to be loosened up. So the second meaning of gati, second meaning of the word shad is shaithilya apadanena, which is avasadhanam. Not avasadhanam, sorry. The meaning of loosening up is visharana. Samsara bijasya vinashad himsanad is destroying, and avasadhana is loosening up, correct. Avasadhana is to loosen up. Before we realize the self, this raga, dvesha, dehatma bhav, we are very deeply rooted in that. That we have to destroy. Strong likes and dislikes when they are there, insecurity is there, inferiority is there, deep attachments for sense enjoyments are there. Because not necessary that every student who comes is a uttam adhikari. Many will be madhyam adhikari, some will be manda adhikari also. Manda means who is having very little interest in realizing the self, but has somehow come to the teacher. You know, in Prashnopanishad it comes. One student is there like that. Entire Upanishad is over. The student, one of the brilliant students asked a question. The teacher gave fantastic replies also. And then he explained about it also. That whole thing is over. Suddenly at the end, one student rises up and says, Sir, when will you start the Upanishad? Upanishadam bho bruhi. Whole class over, everything is over. The student gets up and says, Sir, when will you start the Upanishad? That is called Manda Adhikari. So all types of students come to the teacher. The teacher has to see how to tune up each one. And here the Upanishad itself does that. And that's the beauty of our Shastra is this. Nobody is rejected. Nobody said you are unfit, you are unqualified, you are not deserving of this knowledge. At whichever level they are, how to lift themselves from that level, prepare themselves and make themselves eligible. That is what our Shastra says. Nobody is written off as a gone case. You can never improve. That is not there in our Shastra at all. So avasadhana is shaithilya apadanena. It is to loosen up. So to loosen up bondage, to loosen up dehatma bhav, to loosen up raga and dvesha. Upanishads give some sadhanas also, some upasanas also. So first meaning is Brahma Gamayatritvat, by ensuring that enabling us to speed up our evolution, to realize our absolute truth. Second, to loosen bondage. So first meaning is Gati, second meaning is Avasadhanam, to loosen up the bondage. And Visharana is the third meaning. Visharana means to destroy. Samsara bijasya vinashad himsanat. What does it destroy? It does not destroy the effects. I have lot of stress. Can I read Upanishads? One can read Upanishads, but sometimes you will get more stressed if you read Upanishad because the language is very mystic. Then what should I do? Do some upasana, do karma yoga. That is required for stress relief first. If you want a cure for stress, then come to Upanishad. Because ego is the cure for stress. Ego destruction is the cure for stress. The root cause of our sorrow is the ego. And the notion that I am the body, mind, intellect, and the world is real. That is the samsara bija. And until that bija is not destroyed, nothing will happen. The effect will keep on coming again and again. The cause has to be eliminated. Otherwise, the effect will keep on manifesting in some form or the other. So there are many relief methods in the world. One can use any of them. At certain level of evolution, that is necessary also. No doubt in that. But in case one has tried those methods, one has understood their limitations, then one is really wanting to remove the root cause of the samsara roga. Then Upanishad is the knowledge, because ignorance of the self is the root cause. Desire is not the root cause, attachments are not the root cause. Root cause is ignorance of the self. I may learn to manage desires, I may learn to become detached, but until ignorance of the self doesn't go, the Jiva Bhav will keep coming back, the sense of finitude, I am the ego, all that will keep coming back again and again. And it will be very real, and one will be attached in the world. So when a person wants to know, when a person wants a cure, a complete cure, that I don't want to just have some temporary relief from my sorrow, from my strain, from my stress, from my worries. I want elimination of the cause. Cure I want. That person will come to Upanishad, and the Upanishad will ensure that this happens. The bij is destroyed. So the knowledge which does these three things, which speeds up our evolution to the self, which loosens up our body identification and the attachments, and which finally destroys the root cause of sorrow. All the three are important. One without the other cannot happen. If somebody says, why not we just destroy the root cause of bondage? Root cause of bondage will not even be revealed until the body identification and attachments are not loosened up. Because layers and layers of desires and attachments and strong likes and dislikes are there. And one is trapped in that, and the mind becomes extrovert in that. Hence, it is important that those things get loosened up first. In the Gita also, Bhagavan says that, in the 12th chapter, he says, Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Avyakta hi gatir dukham dehavadbhir avapyate. Those who are attached to the body, if they contemplate on the formless self, their gati will be dukkha only. They will feel tremendous misery. Why? Because strong attachment to the body, likes, dislikes, extrovertedness, it is not possible to contemplate steadily. The mind will wander. Which is why, Gurudev used to say that we sit to do meditation, but we'll end up in meditation only. Our mind becomes mad because not ready. So all three are important. Loosening up a bondage is important. Destruction of the root cause is important, and ultimately realization of the self, that is important. And this knowledge will do all the three depending on what is the level of the student's preparedness. Hence, Upanishad means this knowledge. It is a knowledge of the supreme transcendental self. It is not a knowledge to make my relationships more harmonious or improve my performance or achieve some great success. Those are secondary results that may anyway happen if one starts living the Upanishad way of life. But that's not the main purpose. So if we want solutions to our daily life problems, Upanishad is not the means for that, and it should not be used for that. If we want a cure for the root cause of all problems, Upanishad is meant for that. I'm saying the main purpose. As I said, secondary purpose, secondary things, it may happen. The ego, when we become more and more egoless, harmony in relationships will happen. Performance will improve. Single pointedness, when it comes, it will anyway bring the efficiency in the performance. So those things anyway will happen. Now that intuitive knowledge which will remove my bondage, destroy the root cause, make me realize the self, that intuitive knowledge is called Upanishad. Please remember, these are three different things. One is what is written in the book. Second is what the teacher tells the student. These two are the secondary meaning of Upanishad. The primary meaning of Upanishad is the intuitive knowledge that arises when the student who is tuned listens to a teacher who is realized. That intuitive understanding what arises, that knowledge is called Upanishad Vidya. And only a prepared mind will get that knowledge. Which is why so much preparation is necessary. So the Upanishad is an intuitive knowledge which arises in the heart of the student. The external means the discourse of the teacher or the book when we are reading is the secondary meaning of Upanishad. And hence each one in their own heart, Upanishad is the knowledge that rises in each one's heart. That is why the heart must be prepared. It must be fertile ground. That the seeds of knowledge, when they are sown in it, they will sprout and the fruit of liberation will be experienced, and the juice of that fruit is Ananda. So this knowledge is Upanishad, which does not solve daily problems. It dissolves the root cause. The entity who is having all problems, that entity gets dissolved, because it is understood through this knowledge that that entity itself was false. It was not there only. Like the dream character is illusory. It is not real at all. When a person wakes up, realizes, "Arey, what was all that? Nothing happened. It was just a dream." Now, so this knowledge is what we call as the Upanishad. And as we said, the bija, the samsara bija is avidya. So if it is my own true self, why is it that I am still not able to realize? In Vedanta it is said there are these three obstacles, which is what the preparation is to overcome these obstacles. They are called mala, vikshepa and avarana. Mala means 6 impurities. Kama, selfishness or lust. Krodha, anger. Lobha, greed. moha, delusion; mada, intoxication; matsarya, jealousy. These are 6 impurities of the mind which make the mind extrovert. These are also called shad vikara, 6 modifications or impurities of mind, or shad ripu, 6 enemies. Each of them will burn the heart. It will agitate the heart. These have to be overcome. How this will be overcome? The root of these 6 is the first one, kama. Selfishness is what leads to krodha. If it is not fulfilled, if a deep desire is not fulfilled, it will lead to krodha. If it is fulfilled, it may lead to lobha, that is delusion, that is greed. Moha also it may lead to the delusion. If it is fulfilled, so kama, if it is fulfilled, it can lead to lobha, that is greed. Moha, that is more and more of this makes me more and more happy, so that is a delusion. And mada also, intoxication of I am so young, or I am so great, or I am so powerful, or I am so prosperous. That is called mada, intoxication. If kama is not fulfilled, it will lead to krodha and matsarya, anger and jealousy. And so the first one is the root cause. How to overcome the first one? Through karma yoga, nishkama seva. These are preparations. Last time also we spoke about it. Karma, the first part of the Veda is karma. Not only sakama karma, but also nishkama karma. So how to fulfill desires is also there in the Veda, and how to finally become selfless in my daily performance of my duties, etc. That is also there in that. So the preparation that a student has to do is to live in selflessness. Kama. That if we control, automatically krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya will get controlled. So that is mala is taken care of through karma yoga. Then the mind which is wandering is vikshepa. Because the mind we have not trained to be single pointed. It keeps on wandering. So there are 2 types of wandering of the mind. One is idle wandering. It just goes on wandering just like that. Something or the other it thinks. And one is wandering to hanker after certain pleasure or certain memory to relive, whether painful or pleasurable. It will wander there. So when we try to meditate, sometimes certain patterns repeat again and again. The mind keeps going to those objects of attachment to derive some pleasure, or it is reliving some memory of pain. So that is called wandering, which is on a specific subject or a specific topic. It will go there. That is called vikshepa. Kship means to throw. Vikshepa means throw far away. So from the present, the mind goes into something far away. It can be past or future. So that is called vikshepa. Now these 2, mala and vikshepa. So vikshepa goes only by practice of upasana, single pointedness attained through surrender and devotion. It can be to a form, it can be to a support in nature. There are many upasanas given in the Upanishads. Why this is important to understand is somehow people have this notion that if I've come to Vedanta, I have arrived, I don't believe in form. I don't believe in puja. I don't believe in ritual. I don't believe in any of this mumbo jumbo. I am an intellectual. I will only contemplate on the self. Then all kinds of doubts will come. If I am only Brahman, then what am I contemplating upon? That is because clarity is not there. That notion of I is still that I am the Jiva. In Aham Brahmasmi, it is not I am Brahman, as Jiva is Brahman. Because the mind is not ready. So even if one is studying the Upanishad, it will not understand only. All kinds of doubts come. Fundamental doubts will come because the ego is very strong. Upasana is to loosen the ego. Just like this Upanishad knowledge. So Karma Yoga and Upasana are very important prerequisites. Last class also we spoke about it, that Upanishad is the Jnana Kand. If one does not understand that properly and one straight away jumps into study of Upanishad, one will jump out of it. One will say this is making no sense. Or it will just become an intellectual discussion. It will not transform. But if the heart is ready for it, then one will transform immediately. So Mala goes by Karma Yoga, that is impurities go by Karma Yoga. The simple test to know is how much my self-importance has reduced. That I can do work without the ego pressure, dedicating it to the Lord for the joy of the work, results don't bother me, then that spirit of Karma Yoga removes these 6 impurities. Then Upasana is certain meditations on a support system, whether it is Bhagwan, whether it is any form of the Lord, it is some symbol in nature, it may be some chakra, it may be breathing. Any of these, lots of upasanas are there in the Vedas. That's what is the Aranyaka. The Aranyaka portion has all these. You may find some of the upasanas in the Upanishads also. Because as I said, they will give all these for different levels of students. And then comes the Jnana portion. That Jnana portion removes the last obstacle, that is called Avarana. Avarana means the veil of ignorance on the self. That knowledge which destroys this veil is actually Upanishad knowledge. Which is why the knowledge is an intuitive knowledge. It is not in the words, it is not in speaking. It is realized in the heart. When the mind is become pure and single pointed, that mind will realize. If you remember last time we said put, P-U-T. Purify the mind through Karma Yoga, unify the mind through Upasana, transcend the mind through contemplation. This is the path. Now, this fundamentals we have explained. The word Upanishad also we have understood. Now coming to this specific Upanishad, it is called Prashna Upanishad. So Prashna Upanishad, why it is called Prashna Upanishad? Because 6 disciples have gone to a teacher and each of them have asked one question. So this Upanishad is called Prashna Upanishad. The Rishi here is Pippalada Rishi. We will see more about him as we go into the Upanishad. But important to understand here is that the 6 disciples have gone to a teacher. Upanishad is the knowledge which is attained at the feet of a teacher. You may say, but just now you said it's intuitive knowledge. Then why it is that a teacher is required? Can I not read the book and then the knowledge will arise intuitively in my heart? If one is ready for it, it may happen. But most of the time we are not ready. And again, importantly, the point is that why is a teacher required? What we are trying to realize is, I am not this ego, I am that self. And this ego of ours goes on playing tricks. And we are trapped in that identification. So we are like, if a river is flowing, we are in the river, carried away by the flow. Somebody who is on the banks of the river, who is not carried away by the flow, that person sees me flowing, that person can pull me aside. Something like that is what happens to the student. One is actually flowing in the likes and dislikes and the ego and the false identification. Someone who is on the banks, who is realized, can pull us on the shores. Otherwise, one's ego takes one for a royal ride. So a teacher is required to help us for all the three, to loosen bondage, to destroy the root cause, to speed up the evolution. And as I said, there is, beyond a point, it is a leap that cannot happen unless there is a proper teacher to guide. Because so many obstacles also come on the path. Like one person asked Gurudev, one youngster asked Gurudev, Swamiji, why do I need a guru? Why can't I get the knowledge from the book? Gurudev said, go and ask this to the book. So one can't ask questions to the book, doubts we have in the mind. The teacher is required to solve those doubts. To guide us in sadhana, again the teacher is required. To give the highest knowledge and to ensure that we have understood properly, teacher is required. Even to help us to prepare ourselves, teacher is required. So that is why the importance of a teacher in this parampara. That's why Guru Parampara is important. Think about it, Bhagavan took avatar as Ram and Krishna. Did they not go to a teacher? Bhagavan Ram's guru is not one, there are so many gurus. He learned from Vashishta Maharshi, Vishwamitra Maharshi, Vamadev Rishi, Agastya Rishi, Bharadwaj Rishi, Atri Rishi, so many of them he learned from. And Krishna Bhagwan, he learned from Sandipani Rishi. Shankaracharya ji went all the way from Kerala, Kaladi. He went all the way up to Omkareshwar to find his guru, Govinda Bhagavat Pada. So if Bhagavan's avatar as well as the saints, great masters, they also go to a guru, then what to talk about you and me? So guru is very important. At the altar of the guru, the ego will surrender. And Gurudev gave one of the best practical advices ever in this aspect. He said, unless you have absolute faith in your teacher, it is better to have a guru who is not in the form as your Satguru. Because human mind has a tendency to find weakness all the time. Why is this guru doing like this? Why is this happening like that? And one is going to judge the guru with one's own raga and dvesh also. So it is better to have a guru who is not in the physical form, because guru is not the physical form anyways. Guru is the Guru Tattva, is the supreme self only, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. But we are not able to realize the self in our heart, so that guru manifests outside in the physical form. So if one has, let us say Gurudev is one's guru, Swami Chinmayananji, or one says Vivekananda is my guru, or Anandamayi Ma is my guru, anybody, whoever is one's guru. If one invokes the guru, the grace of the guru will manifest. It is not that guru is not in physical form, so guru cannot guide. Guru is the one who has become one with Brahman. So the Lord will guide through that form. through our invoking the form and through our tuning up with the life of that great master. So Guru is very important. If in this way we purify the mind, if we need a physical form, the Guru will manifest also in the physical form, and then one can even have absolute faith in that Guru. Of course, one has to purify one's mind, no doubt in that. And also in certain cases, one has to even test. Otherwise, one will get exploited. And this Upanishad itself will speak about that. So we will come to that when we come to that portion. So 6 disciples have gone to a realized master to ask questions, to clarify their doubts. So this is a disciple requires a guru, and Gurudev always used to say that when you need the guru, the right type of a guru will be there in your life. There is no doubt. If we deserve a Satguru or somebody who is realized being, we will have a realized being in our life to guide us. Whatever a disciple needs at that moment of evolution, the right type of a guru the Lord sends to help that disciple to evolve. So the point to understand here is we don't have to go in search of the guru outside. We have to prepare ourselves. And only a prepared mind will also be able to identify the guru. Otherwise, the guru is right in front and one will never be able to identify. Krishna Bhagwan and Arjun have grown up together, but until Arjun had the demand for knowledge and until he surrendered, he couldn't even know who is Krishna. Krishna is the Lord of the universe. Same way. So Guru is necessary. The surrender to the Guru is necessary. And another point to understand here is this Upanishad, as many other Upanishads, is a result of questions. This is a very beautiful fact of our culture. We take this for granted many times. Very few cultures have that freedom, give that freedom to question. A lot of them will just say believe because it is a revelation, because some authoritative figure has said it. Our culture has encouraged questioning always. And Gurudev used to joke sometimes and he say, you can hold the Guru by the collar and question him. Don't do it literally. But the point is that is the freedom of this culture, that you can ask questions. And what is the responsibility of the teacher? Great responsibility, is not easy. That if a student is asking the same question for the 1000th time also, the teacher has to still reply with the same love and compassion as he answered for the first time. One cannot say, what a dull student you are. I already told you 9,999 times. This 10,000th time you are asking this question. Because this knowledge is very subtle. Even if that student gets it the 10,000th time, that student has to be congratulated because you got it. Lifetimes go, otherwise one doesn't get only. So questioning is an important aspect, especially in the path of knowledge. Because we have never questioned, we have been taken for a ride. This aspect applies in everything. Not only in personal life, in Vedant, but even in the world outside. How many people take us for a ride because we have never questioned? How many institutions take us for a ride because we don't question? Questioning is the cornerstone of Sanatan Dharma actually. Unfortunately, the decadence happened when some people said, don't question, just believe. So the influence of some of the religions has been that, unfortunately, where you can't question. And also the influence of ego, of course. The ego which wants control, domination, doesn't want people to question. wants people to submit to authority. Here we are trying to get out of the ego itself, and by not questioning, we are expected to be subservient to somebody who is an authoritative figure. Then what kind of a seeker am I? So questioning is a very important aspect. And even in science, you will see the more fundamental questions we ask, the deeper is the discovery. Today, science is asking those questions or not. Is matter real or not? Science is asking that question now today. At some point, science never asked that question. They thought matter is real. And they divided into matter and energy. Now today they are questioning. Quantum physics is saying that matter is not real at all. 99.99999. There are some 13 decimals after that 9. That atom is empty, void space. And yet this whole world is appearing so solid, tangible, real. So the point to understand here is, the more fundamental questions we ask. So what is the most fundamental question? Who am I is the most fundamental question. We have taken this for granted. I am this body. So if somebody wants really to break out of all shackles, Vedanta is the science to break out of all shackles, because it will question everything. The entire process of our living and our identification, etc., it will start questioning. And that is one of the reasons why people don't want Vedanta. Because it completely shakes us up. People many times are not ready for that. So we want some feel-good factor. A feel-good factor we want, so many times we come to Vedanta that, I feel so good if I chant this mantra, or that Guru gives me some blessing, or I got this some prasad, and I did some relaxation meditation, some, seva I did somewhere. I feel so nice about it. So that is no doubt that any of this can be done. There's no problem with any of these. But many times one just wants this much only. One is not questioning. The world is illusory, and ultimately the world did not even come into being. That one doesn't want to question. I am not this body is only a tool, I am somebody else. That one doesn't want to question. Because it will shake up the entire foundation of one's own life internally. So one is very comfortable in the ignorance. A student who is not comfortable in ignorance, who is ready to question, who is ready to do, what they call one Mahatma Ji used to call it as intellectual boxing, is ready to wrestle. The new knowledge has to churn me up completely. And that's why that Mahatma Ji used to say that if after a satsang you are not bleeding, that means you have not participated in the satsang. Because 1 or 2 blows must come. And one has to bleed. The wrong notions have to go out. Upanishad is that knowledge. And that knowledge can come only when I question every single thought I have, especially in the Jnana Marg. The thinker itself is questioned, that who is this thinker? One man, he was going through a market. Different types of shops which are there. Some are selling clothes, some are selling fruits and vegetables, some is jewelry shop. Amidst all these different types of shops, there is one shop which is called the truth shop. There is a board saying the truth shop. So this man goes into that truth shop. And he sees there is no product, it's just a blank, it's an empty showroom. There's nothing there. There's one man sitting there across the table, and on the other side there is one chair. That's all is there in that place. So he said, sir, your board says truth shop. So what is available here? He says the truth is available here. So that person says, truth is available. He says, yes. So what is the truth? He said, do you want it? He said, yes. Are you sure you want the truth? So that person said, yes. So just like you pay for other products, you have to pay for truth. Are you ready to pay? He said, yes. What is the price? So that shopkeeper said, the security of your own beliefs. That man just turned and walked out. Because the price to know the truth is the security of one's own beliefs. We are very secure in so many belief systems of ours. When we question those, then we come to deeper knowledge. So Upanishads are a result of that questioning. They encourage questioning. Most of our scriptures are like that. And Gurudev would always encourage us, and many times in his talks you will find the expression comes, think. And sometimes he would joke and he would stroke his long beard and he would say, the longer the beard, the greater should be your suspicion. That this Swami is bluffing something. So longer the beard, greater should be your suspicion. Don't take anything for granted. Think for yourself, question, ask. So now this is the two words, Prashna and Upanishad. Before we get into the Upanishad, every class, the student and the teacher together chant what we call the Shanti mantra, the peace invocation. Because the knowledge has to be from the heart of the teacher to the heart of the student. And students come from different backgrounds. They would have done different things also sometimes. And all of them have come. Like each of you may have different professions, different work. After this class, you will go back to those things. Again, next class, you will come back. So from different background, different work, the students come. And everybody must be tuned up together. So how to tune up? The altar of tuning up is the Lord. The teacher tunes up to that altar. The students also tune up to that altar. And together, on a common altar, when they surrender, the tuning is established. Then the knowledge will transfer from the heart of the student, of the teacher, to the heart of a student. So this is the Shanti part which comes now. Every Veda has one major Shanti, it will have one major Shanti part. There are many other Shanti parts also in each Veda, but there will be one which is most important one. So this Prashna Upanishad is from the Atharva Veda, and the Shanti mantra of the Atharva Veda is Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha. So all Upanishads of this Veda will have this Shanti mantra. So the major Upanishads of this Veda are three: Prashna Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad. Now all the three major Upanishads have this same Shanti mantra. There are other Upanishads also belonging to Atharva Veda, like Kaivalya Upanishad or the Ganapati Atharva Shirsha Upanishad. They all will also use the same Shanti mantra. Same way, in Rig Veda there is a Shanti mantra, Yajur Veda there is a Shanti mantra. So Shanno Mitra Shamvarunaha is the Shanti mantra for Yajur Veda, or Sahana Bhavatu is the Shanti mantra for Yajur Veda. Like that, each Veda has one Shanti mantra. Now we are in the Atharva Veda. So this is the Shanti mantra, quite famous it is. If you have the book, now you can take up, I don't know what is the page in your book, because my book is an old edition. So Shanti part, after the introduction, it will be there. It will be called peace invocation. In the book, it is titled as peace invocation. Prashnopanishad, introduction, the eternal Vedas. After that, it will come peace invocation. Om Bhadram Karne Bhishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pache Maksha Bhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is the Shanti mantra. Today we will just see the basic meaning of it, then we will see the deeper meaning in the next class. Bhadram karnebhi shrunuyama devaha. May we hear the auspicious through our ears. Bhadram pashyema akshabhir yajatraha. O worshipful gods, may we see what is auspicious. Sthirairangai tuštuvagam sastanubhihi. May our body and all the limbs of this body be healthy. And vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Whatever is my ayu, ordained by the devatas as per my karma, may my body be healthy through this life. So that is one whole line. Sthirairangai tuštuvagam sastanubhihi vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Meaning in my whole life, may I be healthy. Then swastina indro vriddhashravaha. May Indra be auspicious to us. Swastina pusha vishwavedaha. May the Lord Sun, pusha means sun, may the Lord Sun be auspicious to us. Swastinastarksho arishtanemihi. May the wind god Tarksha be auspicious to us. And swastino Brihaspatir dadhatu. May the guru of the devatas Brihaspati be auspicious to us. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May there be peace from cosmic forces, peace from the beings around, and peace in my heart. Now this is the Shanti mantra. More of this we will take up in our next class. So last time I told you, you should read the introduction. I hope you were able to do that. This time your homework is read the Shanti mantra, peace invocation, the commentary of the peace invocation. Read that much. That is your homework. All right. So for today we stop here. Any questions? You can raise your hand and ask. हाँ जी, दीप्ति जी.
Swamiji, you said that the student used to go to the guru and learn the Upanishads. And many a time they used to come back to the sansara and do the sansar. So in spite of knowing the reality, how come they used to go back to normal lives and, and have children and have their own, and however they used to live their lives? Why were not all of them taking sannyas then?
See, the point to understand here is that Brahma Vidya doesn't mean that one has to abandon the world and then live only as a sannyasi. Brahma Vidya is to know who am I. Once I know I am the absolute self, there is no problem at all. The root cause of sorrow is not samsara. Root cause of sorrow is ignorance. That ignorance, if it is destroyed, then roles I can play any role. That is not necessary that somebody who has learned Brahma Vidya or realized Brahman will never live in the world. Because where will one go? There is no other place to go, right? Even Bhagavan took avatar, he lived in the world as an avatara Purusha. All the saints also, So many rishis are grihasthis. Atri Rishi, what I spoke about, Atriji and Anusuya, they are a couple. So realization does not require complete renunciation of the worldly duties and work. It requires renunciation of worldliness. It requires renunciation of ego. If somebody chooses to do that, if somebody chooses to take sannyas, that's a different matter. One can take sannyas also, but it is not necessary that one has to take sannyas if I have studied Brahma Vidya. The best example for that is, how does that person live in the world? He lives in the world like how an actor plays various roles, knowing very well clearly that these roles are not real. And because one has understood it very clearly that these are not real, one is able to juggle through all the roles properly. And even if there is some happiness, sorrow in each of these roles, one knows that that is also not real. So that is how one lives. That's the knowledge that makes that person liberated.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari.
Namrata ji. See, any questions you have to raise the hand. In your phone or computer, you will have a option for more. Please check that, because I can't read the chat and answer at the same time. So I'm not reading the chat at all. Namrata ji, you have to unmute and ask.
Swamiji, so this Shanti mantra is for this particular text.
It is also
we have to
for
chant
this
every
particular
time.
text. Yeah, we have to chant every time. Before every class begins, we will be chanting the Shanti mantra. This is also for this particular text. It is not only for this particular text. As I said, other Upanishads also, when we study of the Atharva Veda, then we will use the same Shanti mantra.
Okay.
So it is a common Shanti mantra for many Upanishads.
Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Shilpa ji. You have to unmute. I am sending you that notification. You have to unmute and then ask.
Pranam Swamiji, you gave 3 meanings for the Sat. One was Brahma Gamaya Tretvat, Shaithilyapadenana, and the third one, Swamiji, I missed. I wanted to know that.
Samsara Bijasya Himsanad Nashanad.
Samsara Bijasya
Himsanad.
Sanat
Vinashat. Not Nashasya. Vinashat. Not Nashat. Vinashat. Samsara Bijasya Himsanat Vinashat.
Oh, thank you so much, Swamiji. Thank you very much.
Arun Kumar ji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, you said that people go to gurus and ask questions in Upanishads, right? Then how can one find a guru?
Like I said, one has to cultivate the demand and the qualifications and the qualities that I really want this knowledge. Bhagwan will provide the guru, and don't try to go like Gurudev used to say, don't go for guru shopping. There may be opportunities of satsang which will come. One can always go to the satsang and listen and think about it, and one will know. The tuning will have, as one does the tuning, one will know that okay, here is a person. So more important is develop the qualities of discipleship and create the demand that I want this knowledge or I want this realization. The right guru you will recognize the right guru, whoever is it.
Okay, Swamiji, thank you. Hari Om.
Arvind.
I am Swamiji. You mentioned that Guru is a Tattva ultimately, and that Sadguru is preferable to have one without a form so that we don't judge the Guru, etc. But while we may have one Sadguru, and while we are learning from many other Gurus also in physical form, if there are contradictions, suppose we feel that there are contradictions, so should we always stick to what we feel the Sadguru has said, or can we, or if something is convincing, even which is not, or maybe I feel it's contradicting with the Sadguru, I can still take it if it is acceptable to me at that point.
So it depends on what that contradiction is about. See, there are two aspects. One is the contradiction in Brahma Vidya. If it is there, one has to go by what the Sadguru is saying, because a person is realized, who is abiding in the truth, and that person has discovered that. So if there is a contradiction in that knowledge, one has to go by Sadguru. Second aspect is, there may be certain contradictions on certain other issues of the world. There it is not necessary that one has to go always by the Sadguru only, because the Sadguru may not be fully aware of that particular field. So for example, if I say Aryan invasion theory, Aryan invasion, we have learned, we have been taught Aryan invasion happened, etc. And so in Kathopanishad commentary of Gurudev, you will find that he mentions also Aryans came from there, and this is what some people think, and this knowledge was brought, all that. He has mentioned Aryan invasion there. But that was a knowledge prevalent at that time. Today we know that this Aryan invasion theory is a myth. Aryans never came to this country. Now, one may say, how come Gurudev mentioned that there? Because that is the knowledge prevalent at that time, and the Guru does not necessarily mean that somebody who knows all past, present, future, everything, and then always acts only out of that state. Because we may have that thought process in our head. That's a different type of a siddhi. Trikala Jnana is a different type of siddhi. A person who is realized is aware of the self. So that's why I'm saying that contradictions in Brahma Vidya, if they are there, one has to go by what Sadguru is saying, because the person has experienced and realized the self. But in the other fields, one has to decide. One need not go exactly by what Sadguru is saying.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Parth Bandhu Nayak.
Hari Om Swamiji, there is one question regarding Shanti part. There is one thing you explained regarding there is till the person lives, they should be stay healthy. But how it will be like attachment? How it will remove attachment of the body?
Body attachment does not mean that, being healthy does not mean I'm attached to the body. The body is used as a tool for sadhana to realize the self. So this body of ours cannot be unhealthy if I have to do sadhana. So the prayer of the student to the Lord is that may this body be healthy so that I can do sadhana to realize the self. Because sickness will increase body identification and I cannot contemplate. If the body is healthy, I can contemplate and use the body to go beyond the body. It's like a simple example Gurudev used to give is, we use the ladder to climb the ladder and go up, and then we discard the ladder. If the ladder is not proper, then we will fall, we can't climb up. So it is like that. So body identification, if we have to transcend, the body should be healthy enough for us to contemplate. Then only we can transcend it.
Thank you.
Neelam Mani.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Haji.
Swamiji, we said that in meditation we transcend the body, mind, and the intellect. Then how do we experience the truth if we transcend our intellect and mind also?
Question is, who is experiencing the truth? The notion is that I, small ego, wants to experience the truth. So that is the usual way of thinking that we have in the world, that I am going to experience something. So if I eat something, I feel happy. If I go somewhere, I feel happy. Vedanta is saying transcend this I. The experiencer dissolves. So the experiencer, when the experiencer dissolves, the experienced is also not there. Experience also is not there. That is the state of realization. Who realized? Brahman realized Brahman. Gurudev always used to say that nobody can realize Narayana. Narayana alone realizes Narayana. Ego cannot realize Narayana. Ego has to disappear to realize that there is Narayana alone. So that is what it is. Language, of course, has limitations. So one will say that one experienced that state, because otherwise you can't communicate. But technically that expression is wrong. One experienced that state, there is no one in that. Then only that state is experienced. Like the waker and the dreamer. So the dream character disappears. Then only waker can be realized. So it is like that. Vasanti Raghavan. Ranganath, sorry.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, there is one question which has bothered me a lot. We talk of Vairagya, but what I want to ask is, when Viveka comes, Vairagya should happen automatically. Like, if my knowledge has become my wisdom, then that Vairagya should happen automatically. Do I have to specially focus on Vairagya to have that dispassion?
Both are necessary. No doubt, Vairagya cannot come without Viveka. It is impossible. Viveka is the first step. In Sadhan Chatushtaya, Vivek is the first step. Then only Vairagya will come. But I also have to focus on Vairagya specifically because the Dehatma Bhav is very strong. And Vivek can be an intellectual exercise sometimes, and my behavior can be exactly opposite to it. So to ensure that there is no contradiction in my thinking and in my behavior, I have to focus on Vairagya also, which is why some of the sadhanas which are given are like that. That when we say, that if sometimes when one sees the dead body, or when one sees a body being cremated, or when one sees so much of sickness and disease and suffering in the human body, then one understands what is that I am running behind, and how is it that I am this bundle of flesh and bones. I can't be this. One is to intellectualize it and to think and again discriminate what is real, what is unreal. That is Vivek. But second is to feel also, because Vairagya has to be from the head. Vivek has to translate into the Vairagya in the heart. That journey from the head to the heart will happen when I focus specifically on Vairagya also. So if I completely live an indulgent life, Vairagya will not come. So I have to withdraw from the indulgent life, live in certain self-control. I have to see the limitation, what in the Gita Bhagavan says, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Anudarshanam means continuously I have to see. What? The limitation of birth, death, disease, old age. And it is not intellectual alone. One has to actually experience it. So if one does that, then the Vairagya will come. And one has to see, books like Bhajagovindam, when we read, one has to live like that. Where if it is said in Bhajagovindam that Ma Kuru Dhana Jana Yauvana Garvam Harati Nimeshat Kala Sarvam. Don't have this garva of dhana, jana, yauvana. In 1 second, it will be taken away. One has to focus on those sadhanas. On wealth, artham anartham bhavaya nityam. Now, one may say artham anartham bhavaya nityam and go on accumulating wealth with the thought that that makes me so happy. Then Vairagya will not come. Vivek will remain intellectual. So to integrate both these, one has to focus on both.
So then there will be focus on the Anatma part also a lot to come to the Atma part.
Yes, but that, as you said, is right. Anatma part focus is to come to Atma part. Today, Anatma part focus is to enjoy Anatma part. So that's the difference.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay, last question for today. Priyadarshan. What happened? No question. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.